Go ahead.
Yeah, that makes sense. But like, I would just say I'm really worried that if SDF is truly in charge of Arena and he's the one behind this ridiculously strong gear that's not fun and that breaks the game and causes lots of other issues, if he's in charge of Arena and he allows gear to be brought in, and
dead.
people can just bring in BIS, it's dead on arrival. Like my hopes are gone. I might quit. Like I don't know. Not immediately, obviously. It would take me a long time.
In Arena? Then what's the move?
Honestly, there's multiple ways to do it, but I think everyone has to be completely fair and like has to have the same options. You can't let people bring in BIS rolls versus weak rolls. You can't have true damage versus, debuff. That's stupid. Like there has to be some sort of
then you got to think of casters
equality
too. Yeah.
But then like you think, is playing with blue tier gear like this level of skill, and you're telling me we're going to have like a legendary tier? So is this going to be looked at as the highest tier of skill, when in reality this is where all the one-shot bullshit happens? Like, are people going to look at that as the ultimate skill? I think this entire game has had a problem where throughout our entire history we've never had a way to truly see who's the most skilled, whether it's kill leaderboards or trinket farming. Like, it's never been true skill. It's like, let me game the system, spawn rush,
There's
whatever.
always some bullshit.
Yeah, there's always bullshit, and the integrity of the leaderboards with cheating and a whole bunch of other issues we could get into, but we'll skip. Like, we've never had a place to truly show our skill. So please, Iron Mace, my one wish is like, make Arena truly skill based, and I think people will play the fuck out of it. I know I will.
Copy fucking World of Warcraft. I don't know how else to say it. Copy WoW. They have it figured out. They had it figured out for 20 years.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, well said.
But no, I completely agree. If they botch Arena, that's very bad, because like the most obvious one is you cannot bring your own gear.
Yeah.
And I have a pretty good feeling they're gonna do that.
I'm really scared.
Well, I think that Arena will, just like many systems in this game, they're just gonna try to.
It's gonna take time, and yes, but if they release it in a DOA, there's no time on the clock. That clock is batteries are out, bro. It's entirely different. So.
I will just say, gear score as a concept, it only exists because gear is too strong. Like, duh. Like, we can't have the people with upper end gear are demolishing lower end gear. That's the only reason it exists. So like, but we look at gear score, it's very flawed. Like, offhand weapons versus main hand weapons, or like bringing in copper light, right? Crafted gear or loot. Like copper light's broken. Like, it's green gear, but it's got an extra stat roll on it, and it's got an extra inbuilt stat. Like, what the fuck? This is not balanced even remotely. Like, how are we letting this happen?
Well, as he clearly said, he doesn't care about balance. He's made that statement.
That's a bad
Give
take.
it to somebody else.
I'm sorry. Someone has to care. Somebody has to care. Yes.
Someone has
to. In his defense, I'm not like an apologist of SDF and the PvP balance, but in his defense, I think that was more of a translation thing. I think what he meant, it's more of an interpretation of what he said.
Sure.
I think because he's been doing hot fixes that have balance change, it's all about balance. So what I think he meant by that was this next the major updates of the next month or two is their focus is on content. Not balance.
Right. Yeah,
because if they're not, if he doesn't care about balance, he wouldn't be doing hot fixes, with balance changes.
Both.
Yeah. So
you can't fucking just do oil changes on your car and expect it to drive when there's no fucking tires left, right? Like, you can't just go one without the other. To be fair, which they did for a while, by the way, where they just did balance, no content. We saw what happened at the lowest player count of all time. So.
Yeah. All right, now like this, give us the Bard and Warlock.